This video is brought to you by Truefire. These are the top 5 things you can do to improve your blues playing. I came up with this list thinking of things that I'm not hearing in a lot of guitar players who play blues, and I guarantee if you work these 5 concepts into your blues playing, you will actually sound like a blues guitar player, not just a guitar player who grabbed the keys to the minor pentatonic scale and decided to run with it. Blues is a language, and though you might have your pentatonic scale and know the 3 chords that make up a standard 12-bar blues, there's a lot of nuance and a lot of important elements to the language. This will increase your abilities when you go to play, whether it's on a gig, at the blues jam, or just playing at home with a backing track. So the number one thing I hear missing from a lot of blues guitar players playing is the ability to play over the changes. Just a simple acknowledgement that when you're playing over the form, you know what the chords are that you're playing over, and you can make the sound of those chords happen some of the time in your playing. This is something that a lot of players don't really think about, because the notes of the minor pentatonic, which is typically the scale that a guitar player learns when they first want to play blues, happens to work over all 3 chords in the blues. Somebody should be able to at least hear the gravitational pull of the different chord changes within your lines. Now, I did a full 30-minute video on this. You can watch it on YouTube. It's probably my most popular YouTube video. I go into this a lot deeper in that video, so when you're done watching this video, go check it out. But I'm going to give you a few easy tips to start doing this. So let's say we're playing a blues in the key of B, and all you know is your minor pentatonic scale, B minor pentatonic. Let's say out of this box alone, all I want you to do is think of hitting the root of the chord when we land on that chord. So in this key, our root is B. So you'll hit a B when you're on a B chord. When we go to the 4 chord, which in this key will be E or E7, we're gonna hit an E. We're gonna hit that note right there. And when we go to the 5 chord, which in this key is F sharp 7, we're gonna hit that note. Now check it out. I could play without the backing track. You'd be able to hear the sound of the chord changes just by my lines. I'm just thinking minor pentatonic. Here comes my 4 chord. Back to the 1. Here's the 5 chord. 4. Back to the 1. To the 5. Now, you shouldn't just hit the root every time the chord changes all the time, but it's a great exercise to practice your knowledge of the changes and make sure that your solo is reflecting the form and the changes of the song. We're going to take this one step further, but we're really going to think of one note in particular that might be missing from your blues playing. If we're playing a blues in the key of B, and you're playing over a B7 chord, your B minor pentatonic scale has a D natural in it. That's the flatted 3rd, whereas your B7 chord has a D sharp in it. D sharp is the major 3rd. Take a blues lick like this. And to just change this note, the D, or the flatted 3rd, to the major 3rd, it's really going to reflect something important to the harmony of the song. Now, even though there's not a D natural in that chord, with blues, we're used to hearing the sound of the flatted 3rd over our 1 dominant chord. So even though there's not a D in the chord, that note still works in the blues. Our ears are used to it, and we also tend to bend that note slightly. But actually, hitting the major 3rd is a crucial thing that you hear all the great blues players do. And often when we hit that major 3rd, we either slide into it from a half step below, like here I am on the G string, sliding from 7 to 8, or maybe hammer on into it. Okay, so now let's take it one step further. Let's hit the 3rds of each of these chords, right? So over my B7, I'm gonna hit a D sharp. That's the 3rd of the chord. When I land on an E7, I'm going to hit the third of E7, that's G sharp. We can find it here at the 9th fret of the B string or the 6th fret of the D string. And then over the 5 chord, I'm going to hit an A sharp. That's the 11th fret of the B string. That's the third of the chord. So here's how it sounds with the backing track, hitting the thirds each time. This is the #1 thing you can do to make the sound of the blues changes come out in your playing. #2 thing that's missing in a lot of blues guitar players playing is the ability to play rhythm guitar in the blues. Now I know we all want to solo, we want to take the lead, but a lot of time when you're at the blues jam session or playing in a band or getting together to play with a friend, you're going to be doing more rhythm playing than lead playing. But there's another reason that I want you to study your rhythm guitar over the blues. For me, one of the biggest advancements and leaps I made in my guitar practice when I was able to actually play rhythm guitar and see notes from each of the chords when I played lead guitar. So when I'm soloing, I can see the outlines of the chord shapes. And if you have a great sense of voice leading or connecting the chords from one chord to the next, it will actually enhance your lead guitar ability. But it's also great to have a vocabulary of rhythm guitar styles that you can play to keep things interesting when you're playing behind a singer or playing behind another soloist. You don't want to just do this all the time, right? This is a great guitar part, but there's a lot more that we can do to make melodic guitar parts happen. So just a simple idea like this goes a long way. I'm just playing a little 3-note B7 chord, and I'm actually hammering on that major third. Then going to an E triad, which I'm not going to an E chord, but I'm just playing an E triad over the B chord. It's a little passing chord, it's in our key, it works. Then over my 4 chord, E7, I'm actually just sliding up from 7 to 9 with one finger and then sliding back down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is giving me notes of E7, right? This is an E6, this is an E9. These are all notes that work over an E7. And then over the 5 chord, I'll take that same idea, move it 2 frets up. This can be a great way to highlight a lot of those sounds when you're playing, and you want to be a good accompanist for the person that you're playing under and have a lot of ideas that can be adaptable to what they're playing. If somebody's soloing in a certain register, you might want to play somewhere lower or somewhere higher to stay out of their way and really enhance what they're doing. That's your job as a rhythm guitar player. Another great reason to have some chops playing rhythm guitar in the blues is it forces you to listen to the band, to listen to the time, and to actually focus more on rhythm, so that will enhance your lead playing because you're more in tune with what the band is playing, what the groove is, what the time is, and you get some different kind of rhythmic motifs that work in rhythm guitar and transfer over to really great ideas in lead guitar as well. Now, if you like this idea, I encourage you to check out my blues rhythm guitar skills video. Real quick, I'd like to thank my friends at Truefire for sponsoring this video. Truefire is a great place to go when you want to up your blues playing. Every time that I feel like I'm in a rut and I want some new ideas, I'll go check out Truefire. I'll check out some great blues masterclass courses. They have great videos from players like Robin Ford, Josh Smith, Kirk Fletcher, Larry Carlton, Greg Koch, and so many more. The Truefire desktop and mobile app features synced tab, multiple HD camera angles, and the ability to loop and slow down phrases. Check out their All Access Pass, which includes streaming access to all their courses, song lessons, and much more. Number 3, phrasing. So you'll know your pentatonic scales. Scales are a mere alphabet. We don't walk around trying to communicate going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? When we communicate, we take the letters of the alphabet, we rearrange them to make words, but we also don't go around just talking blah, 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 blah. We have punctuation, right? We have commas, we have periods. We have ways to take our ideas and build them and make it so the person that we're talking to has a chance to understand them, reflect, and then respond. So one important thing about playing blues, call and response is integral to the tradition of playing blues. That can be call and response between a singer and then the guitar that plays a fill after. Think of B.B. King singing a line and then playing something after it. That could also be call and response between you and somebody else in the band, or it could be within your own lines, right? So if we're thinking about phrasing, first off, that might mean when you start a solo, you're not going to just start with a bunch of notes. We want to tell a story. And when you go to see a movie, the big action movie kind of scene where the bad guy's layer's blowing up and the hero comes in to save the day, that doesn't happen right at the very beginning of the movie. We usually build, we meet the characters, we learn the bad guy's evil plan. We build up to that point, and then we get that kind of climax of the movie. So same idea when you're playing, you want to start by leaving space. You want to draw the listener in, because everything that you play, you're going to want to give the band a chance to respond and play off of it, as well as give the listener a chance to respond and kind of hear what you're doing, so then you can play something new. Also, everything that you play should be related to what you played before. So I might take a motif or a little idea and develop it. I might play something, and then the second time, instead of going up, I went down. I might play it a third time, and then I'll go up somewhere else. Maybe I'll go back down, maybe something similar to the first time. And then when that 5 chord hits, I might go to a new idea. So it's all about taking something and developing it like you're telling a story. Then you can build, so if you want to do all the great guitar stuff, all that stuff, you actually have already drawn the listener in and you're not going to run out of ideas. And that could be starting your solo in the lower register and just leaving that space. And I know leaving space can sometimes feel uncomfortable, but that's going to give you more stamina and more ability to build your solo and draw it out. And it's also going to give that listener a chance to actually hear what you said and respond. All right, number 4. Dynamics. One thing I hear, particularly with a lot of players, what I call the Stevie Ray Vaughannabes. These are the players that, copy and play Stevie Ray Vaughan licks, and I'm guilty of doing that as well. But one thing that Stevie did a really great job with was the ability to bring his playing down to a whisper. If you can play and start your solos, or even after you're playing a big moment in the solo, bring it down, that again is going to give you more to work with and also make your solos more interesting. If you're at a party and somebody starts whispering and saying, hey, and they start telling you something, and they're using a quiet voice, maybe they're telling you some kind of gossip, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to want to lean in and hear what they're saying. This is a great way to draw a listener in. But I'm not just talking about dynamics starting quiet at the bottom of your solo and building to a scream at the top. That is absolutely something you do. You want to start your solo down low and build it. But I'm talking about dynamics within your lines. Listen to the way B.B. King plays at the beginning intro solo of Thrill Is Gone. You'll hear in those lines, each note he plays is a different volume. Sometimes he'll play quieter just in a certain 3 or 4 note phrase or 3 or 4 note section of a phrase. So you can vary the attack on a line. So I'm picking harder on those notes I want to emphasize. But really the ability to play at both a quiet volume and a loud volume within a solo can really help give you more to work with, again, in your entire solo. Number 5, listening. Right? Listening to blues music and blues albums. If you want to learn the blues and you want to learn the vocabulary, the phrasing, you want to learn the language, the repertoire, this is what you need. You need to go to the source. If you were going to learn a new language, right? You wanted to learn a foreign language. If you moved to a country, say you wanted to study French, if you moved to France and you were forced to be in an environment where you heard the language spoken all around you at the cafes, you saw it on the signs, you saw it on the bus, you would be much more inclined to learn the language a lot faster than just studying it from home, right? Studying it, not living in that country and not being immersed in it. So if you really want to get blues language and blues vocabulary in your playing, you need to listen to it. Now, I had a huge leap in my blues playing when I started digging really deep. Started to check out players like Otis Rush, Slim Harpo, Magic Sam, Little Milton. And the deeper I got, the more I incorporated a lot of these different lines and ideas. And in a lot of cases, these lines were not lines I actually sat down and figured out and transcribed, but I just heard them so many times they would start to come out in my playing. Sometimes it would be the exact lines themselves, sometimes it would be certain rhythms. Playing a rhythm like that, that could just be something I've heard. And this is an important thing to note about transcribing. When you're learning something new, the most important thing you could do, whether it's a guitar solo or a song, is to listen to it a bunch before you play it. Because there are about 4 elements to a solo, or 4 elements to something that's written, that you don't need the guitar for 3 of those 4 elements. If there's a lick you want to learn, let's say it's the rhythm, right? You could be listening in your car while you're cooking dinner. You don't need your guitar to figure out that the rhythm is da 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 da. So you got the rhythm. Rhythm is something you can pick up, right? The feel, a shuffle feel, a swing feel, a funk feel. If you listen to a lot of music, these types of feels, you'll internalize them sort of by osmosis if you listen to them a bunch. Okay, so you got the rhythm of that lick. What's next? How about the contour? Does it go up or go down? Da 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 bum. It goes down. Didn't need my guitar for that. And then if I'm listening, I'm thinking, are there bends, hammer-ons, pull-offs? You can start to determine some of those things before touching the guitar. So when you get to the guitar, now you just need to figure out what those exact notes are. So when you listen to a lot of blues and you dig deep and you listen to this language, it's going to start to come out in your playing naturally. So just some casual listening isn't going to cut it if you really want to get the language of the blues. If you listen to this stuff nonstop and you really get deep with it, I guarantee you're going to start to hear things come out in your playing that you didn't even sit down and practice. They just come out. So go ahead and do these 5 things. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did I leave anything out that's important to understand and to know when you're learning blues? Let me know if these things work for you and they start to improve your blues playing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want a tab to some of the licks I played, as well as a ton of exclusive lessons, transcriptions of my YouTube lessons, and a monthly Zoom group lesson get together, check out my Patreon page. Thanks for watching this lesson. Once again, my name is Jamie Ayer, and I'll see you in the next video.